Alright, let's get diving into another manga review. This time we're doing Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 267. Thankfully, I'm not feeling unwell this time, so should be a bit easier to go through this. So this one's titled Inhuman Makio Shinjuku Showdown Part 38. And we open up with a nice coloured, cute little one with the gang all having puppies on top of their heads. So yeah, that's pretty cute. Let's go to the first page. This one's a crazy one, by the way. Right. So we start off, and it becomes very clear. Yuta, you want Sukuna's last finger. And it's Yuta talking to himself. So you'll peg on very quickly. This is during the swap session that Yuta and Gojo had. So Yuta talks about getting hold of Sukuna's last finger so he can copy Malevolent Shrine. And Gojo immediately refuses. Yuta thinks he's joking, but he's being very serious. Also, he's got very Gojo expressions on Yuta's face, and we're also going to see the opposite with Gojo. It's very kind of funny. So we get to the next page. He establishes that would satisfy the conditions for copy, but it won't give enough analytical breakdown of Malevolent Shrine. And Yuta realizes he's correct. And look at that, a Yuta expression on Gojo. Oh dear. And yeah, he talks about how even though he's copied cursed speech, he doesn't understand it without asking Inumaki, who can apparently tell him. I love how they just understand him. He's just saying stuff like salmon. But it's not a good idea to lose the connection to Sukuna. They're talking about the loose finger, or it's a bet, or as Hikari would say, it's a fever. And again, it's Gojo speaking through Yuta, so it just all looks a bit weird. Besides, and then he comes up with this little suggestion: if you want to copy Malevolent Shrine, conditions of my copy curse technique, blah de blah de blah. Just saying he needs to consume a part of a target's flesh to copy their technique, and the amount depends on the amount you consume. Then dictates how many times you can use it, how powerful it will be. So a more vital part to the sorcerer gets a better version of the technique. But you can place a binding vow on the number of times you use it if you can't get enough of that target's flesh. So he's sort of explaining his technique. They do this a lot, to be fair. And then Yuji kind of theorizes if you can use reverse technique, you can heal the taken body part, but that gets shut down. I think it's not clear, but I think this is by Yuta. But he's establishing when the restored body part regenerates, then it makes the consumed part useless. So they have to keep the body part lost, otherwise Yuta loses copy. And he talks about how he was able to consume Kurusu or Hana's arms or Inumaki's arms, and they could use their technique. And Charles, I've already forgotten who he is, but he lost part of his ribs for the copy technique, and talking about being told about the resonance between Yuji and Sukuna. So they don't really want to give Yuji too much information, and they put all the planned information kind of on the edge of the fight, so Sukuna doesn't get any of that information. So, and look at that, Yui's sleeping on Yuji. That's silly. But yeah, it's important because Yuji can't read Sukuna's thoughts, as they say here. And then he's saying that if they leave this till last, then it won't matter, because the confusion of the fight between Sukuna and Gojo will mean that Sukuna shouldn't get this information. And I've lost. Let's just scroll again. Always happens. Weird. Alright, I've zoomed in too much. There we go. So then we get to the bottom of the page, and he points out that even though Yuji can't use Shrine at this point, this is during the swap sessions, he pointed out that Sukuna's cursed techniques are engraved in his flesh, so he should have them. Gojo Sensei confirmed it with the 6 eyes. So I think this is after the swap session because it's Yuta talking in Yuta's body again. And then we flash back to the present where Sukuna notices that Yuji's missing 2 fingers. And he's kind of piecing it together. He's a smart guy, so he's kind of working it out. He took that finger when he transferred his essence into Megami. And they established he never recovered the last finger. And this is why the finger was actually important from the last chapter. He's now realised, and this has all been established now, that Yuta got Malevolent Shrine through Yuji's finger, as we expected. And he could only use it once because he only consumed a very small part and very unimportant part of Yuji's flesh, the one finger. That's why he could only use it once. But now they talk about, can they attack Sukuna's finger? Normally it's indestructible, it can't be hit by physical force or sorcery, but they talk about with a binding vow, if you don't focus on destroying it and just penetrating it, it might be possible. And then they talk, this is the crazy part, it hasn't even been an hour since she woke up. And we get to the next page, the controversial page, the divisive page. She's back! Oh, what's her name again? I had it before I started this recording and I never struggled with her name. Fushiguro. I've forgotten her first name. This is embarrassing. No, Fushiguro is Megami. Oh, this is embarrassing. How have I forgotten her name? Nobara, there we go. Sorry. Now, in the leaks, it said... I like the leaks translation better. It's like, rejoice, boys. But they've gone with, you better be happy, boys. Yep, she's back. And she immediately sets to impale Sukuna's finger. It's on one of her straw dolls. And she succeeds. And resonance. Sukuna is getting a big attack. And he immediately realizes it's Nobara. And that's kind of crazy. So nails coming out of him. Very recognizable. Which means Yuji realizes it's Nobara's attack. Even though she's not actually there. She's at the location of Sukuna. I believe so anyway. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure they're in different locations. So that should be Yuji recognizing the attack. And he immediately lays on a dismantle that Sukuna now can't kind of defend against, because the resonance has just disrupted it stopped his domain expansion. He doesn't have his hand signs for a hollow wicker basket, so bam, guaranteed hit, dismantle. But even though Sukuna takes a big hit, this is after dismantle, so he gives him a punch to the face as well. He kind of immediately bounces back and gives Yuji a punch back as well. Double arm punch, actually. In fact, is it a triple arm punch? No, that's Yuji's arm. So it's a double arm punch. So he contends that even though it's a big hit, because he can't use reverse technique, he theorizes that Yuji's at his limit too. And using the domain has consumed a lot of energy too, curse energy. So he's confident that Yuji's going to be the one who'll die. We then go on. And that's Yuji landing a nice punch to Sukuna, and Sukuna also getting a nice punch on Yuji. A double blow with a temporal difference. Which then means... Sukuna, let's finish this. Your curse must end. Enhanced Fist and Black Flash. Yuji's done so many at this point. And that's the end of the chapter. Sukuna's really hurt, and well, we know Black Flashes have an ability to restore technique, so it could give Yuji the favor here. But that's where we'll end, and no breaks, so we'll have another one next Sunday. Now, just to briefly talk about it, because I know it's been divisive and controversial about Nabara returning. I don't mind it. Like, I think it would have been better if she had, like, you know, the character growth, the character development that, you know, Yuji has had, for example. But it's just interesting to go to this point where I think most people have just accepted she was gone, and then to suddenly be like, surprise, she's alive, is a big twist as well. So I don't mind it. I would have preferred the character development way, but to me, this is fine too. I know that's not going to be the most popular opinion, but I'm okay with it. And she, you know, she came back with a cool eye patch. Like, I felt if she was going to come back, make sure she's at least wearing an eye patch. So this fight's been sort of going back and forth. Like, oh no, Sukuna looks like he's done. Oh, Yuji's done. So now it does look like Sukuna might be on the ropes. It might be. It is. We know it's coming to an end. There's 4 chapters left. I think it's 4, but it's coming to the end at the end of September. So we're gonna get the conclusion soon, and I think Sukuna will go down. Narratively, we probably all think that Sukuna will go down. Like, imagine it. Yes, it ends with Sukuna winning. But anyway, I will move on now. I will go and record my One Piece reaction. And then I've got to catch up on Hunter x Hunter in time for when that returns. Alright, see y'all later.